That quote, I got to keep working on my craft. That is how you become great.
Sure.
That's what greatness is. The Michael Jordans, the Tom Brady's, the Kobe Bryant, those guys, they never quit working on the craft of what they do.
Hey race fans, welcome to another episode of Backseat Drivers. I am Alex Weaver, joined by NBC Sports' Kyle Petty and our resident analyst, Mamba Smith, and we all three here at the table hope that your Monday morning coffee was as strong as Daniel Suarez.
For sure.
Going around the Roval with no power steering assistance. The arms. I want to see the biceps today, Suarez.
Look at
What a
Popeye,
time.
probably.
Yeah. Well, guys, we started off the Charlotte Roval weekend strong with Corey LaJoie's Kickball Classic on Thursday night. If you weren't there to catch all the action, you can catch all the action from Corey LaJoie's Kickball Classic. It's still on NASCAR's YouTube channel. But let's get right into the top stories from Sunday. This weekend didn't get any less exciting as we moved on to the round of 12 elimination race at the Charlotte Roval. 2021 Cup Series champion Kyle Larson will not be moving on in the Cup Series playoffs to defend his title at Phoenix. Chase Briscoe was able to finish ahead of him to lock himself into the next round. Larson, Austin Cindric, Daniel Suarez, and Alex Bowman will not be continuing their race for a championship. Christopher Bell shocked the playoff field and took the checkers in a wild overtime finish and locked himself in to the next round. The only driver who's been able to lock into each round so far. That's insane.
It is.
Insane.
That's crazy.
So remember, throughout the show, you can text the keyword backseat to 31032 to agree or disagree with Mamba and Kyle. But let's get right into it, and let's start with the reigning champ. Kyle Larson has finished his race for a championship in 2022. I feel like we were waiting for 2021 Larson to show up at some point, but he never did. He made a lot of mistakes this season that ultimately cost him a championship run. Let's hear what he had to say post-race to our friend Kim Kuhn.
I feel like our team put ourselves in position as well as we could on points today and got as many stage points as we could. It was, I think, plus 27 or 8 at the time when I screwed up. So just for no reason either. I wasn't even pushing that hard at that moment and got loose and caught me off guard. So I just got to keep working on my craft, just be better and make a lot less mistakes. Like I said, I made way too many mistakes this whole year, and you can't win a championship like that. So no surprise that I made another mistake today and took us out of contention.
All right, I'm done talking now. So after seeing what we saw this season and hearing what Larson had to say post-race, let's grade his 2022 season, KP. I'm going to start with you because obviously a disappointment for the 5.
Yeah, there's the statement.
Yeah.
A disappointment for the 5.
Yeah.
There's 25 other teams that would take that season.
Sure.
That would take that season, no doubt. I think, and I said it yesterday when we were doing some stuff, he was not the Larson of 2021.
Yeah.
It was not the team
yeah.
of 2021.
Or
I
the
can't
car.
blame all this on Larson. Yeah, or the car, you're right. But I can't blame this all on Larson. But I think Larson, we got into this year a little bit with Larson to what we all refer to, or what I refer to, as the Jimmy Johnson syndrome. He set the bar so freaking high.
Yeah.
If he was under it, we just thought, it's going the heck in a handbasket. It's over with. It's over with for Jimmy Johnson. And that's kind of the way we looked at this season for Kyle Larson. If he was not out there dominating races or winning 2 or 3 races out of every 4 or 5 races, you're saying, where's Kyle Larson? He was just hammering it out. He was hammering it out. He made it to the round of 16. He made it to the round of 12 and should have made it, honestly, to the round of 8. He made a mistake, like he said. What I took from his interview was he was more upset with himself than he was with anything else that happened all year long. He just felt like he was not on his game this year.
That quote, I got to keep working on my craft. That is how you become great.
Yes.
That's what greatness is. The Michael Jordans, the Tom Brady's, the Kobe Bryant, those guys, they never quit working on the craft of what they do. And Kyle Larson is like that. And to win a championship, he said it, you can't make mistakes. And in our sport, there's so many variables, right? Like, you might have hit the wall, he might have hit the wall, bounced it off the fence before, and it never broke nothing.
Yeah.
And that time it did. You just never really know.
Right.
And that's why you got to stay on your game all the time. And he said it. He said, it caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
That little bit.
Yeah.
So.
There were a lot of hype built around the round of 12. A wild card race at Texas, which I don't know if anybody expected. A not so wild card race at Talladega with an exciting finish, but I don't know if anybody predicted that. and of course the uncertainty and chaos that the Roval brings. So let's take a look back at the excitement of the round of 12.
Oh, and into the wall, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Out of turn 4, Chase Elliott into the wall. You see the fire coming out the right side.
Byron felt like maybe that the 11 ran him into the fence off of turn 2. Byron takes that opportunity to possibly retaliate.
And Texas, Tyler Reddick wins with the help of Jones. He surges ahead. Jones moves to the inside. Elliott has the lead. Chase Elliott through the dog leg. Blaney with momentum. He's not going to get there. Elliott's going to win at Talladega. And in carnage in turn 1. He breaks locking up as they go into trilogy.
Oh, the two's around.
Kane and around goes to 2. He has done it. He's won his way into the round of 8.
So looking back on all that madness, the round brought us some good moments. We cried, we laughed, we hugged. You know, did the round of 12 live up to the hype, or did it fall short? So, Mamba, let's start with you on this one, because this one was the one when we saw the 3 races in this one. We were like, oh, this is it.
I'm hyped. I'm always hyped. That's my job. Chief hype officer. I'm hyped for life. But like it was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Front to back, every race delivered in a different way, and the fans, you can't stop talking about it.
Yeah.
And they're showing out to the races too. Like that's the other part, right? So the Roval, it was like, okay, like here's Chase. Chase is gonna finish this thing out. It was a good race.
Yeah.
A lot of strategy. Oh, just kidding. We're gonna flip the coin, and now it's like what we thought Talladega was gonna be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I am gonna look into this camera for 5 seconds.
Oh, here we go.
The system, the playoff system that we have is great because of this. You don't get this product without the system. So people that are coming at me and coming at other people about, oh, this playoff system is trash. You're crazy. It's the best thing we've ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I agree. And I think these 3 races lived up to the hype in different ways this year. I don't think we thought Texas was going to be what it was.
No.
Thought everybody went into Texas thinking, "Oh, this is the calm one."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
Texas,
I think what this round does, honestly, is it puts fear in the competitors because they don't know what can happen. You don't hear anybody at the beginning of this round saying, yeah, all 3 of these races fall in my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? You hear none of that. Now we're already hearing that about the next 3 races. Yep. We all heard that about the first 3 races, but you don't hear about, and that's what makes this such a special round. You've got the mile and a half, you've got Talladega, and you've got the Roval. 3 totally different racetracks, 3 totally different racetracks, totally different approaches, totally different strategies. Everything is just so different. And then you go to Texas, and everything that happened, and you think, oh my God, I still got to go to Talladega and the Roval. You know what I mean? What's going to happen? You know what I mean? So I think they were shell-shocked when they went to Talladega, honestly, and they just fell in line for a while, you know? And nothing really drastic happened, and you come out of that and you thought, okay, that's going to be good. And you felt that even at the Roval. You felt that in the first couple of stages. But it built to that crescendo at the end where you knew something was going to happen. If they got a caution, if something happened, it was going to be chaos. And it was. And it lived up to it at the end.
All right, Christopher Bell has been the only driver able to lock himself into each round of the playoffs so far. If you would have asked me that a year ago, that would not have been my answer. He took the checkers at the Roval on Sunday and is moving on in his championship contention. I had the chance to catch up with Christopher in Victory Lane, and here's what he had to say after his win at the Roval.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. I mean, Las Vegas is a track that I think will qualify well at and should perform really well at, you know, and then that leads into Homestead, another mile and a half that, you know, I could win. So I really am super excited about this opportunity in front of me. And, you know, I knew from day one the round of 12 was going to be tough. Texas was our only strong track in the round of 12. But now looking to the rest of the year, they're all pretty good ones.
So he locked himself into the round of 16 with a win. He was the only one to lock into the round of 12 on points. And then he locks himself into the round of 8 with a win at the Roval. So I talked to Christopher. He obviously, you heard it there. He says that he and Adam Stevens both believe they can be championship favorites. But is he truly, KP, the championship favorite?
So I like that they think they are. Okay, I do like that because that you have to think you are.
Confidence is key.
believe.
You've got to believe.
Yeah.
I don't care. Listen, Chase Briscoe has to believe he's got a shot at the championship,
Right.
and
Sure.
he's a championship favorite. You have to believe that. Joey Logano said it way back in the very beginning, before we even ran the first race of the round of 16. We're the favorites. They're going to have to come after us, So he declared himself that. So I think you have to believe that, but no, I don't believe they are. And I don't believe they are for a couple of different reasons. And part of the reason that I don't believe they are is the first two races in this in this last round.
Yeah.
They just haven't had that consistency all year long. Where I look at a Chase Elliott, he's been pretty consistent. I look at Joey Logano, they've been fairly consistent. The 11 team, they started terrible, but they found some consistency somewhere. So I put those teams probably a little bit above him. But I think he's vying for that fourth spot in my mind, in my place to get to that Final Four. And listen, nothing I've said this year has been right, so just take this with a grain of salt. But I'm just saying, from past experience and the guys with the most experience going into this, I think he's probably fourth or fifth on the list.
I think the interesting thing about Christopher Bell is he's starting to become that dude
Yes.
that you thought he was going to be. It's taken a little bit, but this is cup racing, man. This is the pinnacle. It's hard up here, right? So are they the championship favorites? No, but you gotta pay attention to what they're doing. I think no, because they haven't been consistent at the tracks that they're gonna need to be good at. And I don't really see them winning Martinsville. Like, that's not so, like, it's gotta come from Homestead or Vegas. And for everybody else, I feel like for a lot of the other guys, they've been good at those places. So they're gonna have to figure that out and have some consistency. And obviously, one person's gonna point their way in.
Yeah.
So that
For
very
sure.
well could be
Could
him.
be them.
It could be them.
It's time for Backseat Bets, presented by BetMGM. And don't forget that you can text Kyle or Mamba to 31032 to make your picks for this week. And take our advice. Don't take our advice. We don't care.
Yell at me, it's fine.
All right, so Mamba mentioned the tracks coming up, but now let's head to Las Vegas, Sin City. This is a good one for drivers. I know they have to be somewhat excited, especially like a Joey Logano, who loves a notebook, because we've already been here this season in this next-gen car. So we know a little bit what to expect, but obviously the intensity will ramp up with a playoff race. So this first matchup, and KP, I'm starting with you because I already know this side of the answer. The 20 of Christopher Bell or the 12 of Ryan Blaney?
So I'm going to take Christopher Bell.
Oh, there it
On
is.
this one, I am going to take Christopher Bell above Blaney. Listen, just because I don't want to agree with you. That's
Yeah,
the only
I
reason.
love that.
Okay?
It's fine.
But I am. Coming
It's
off of
fine.
the big win, the momentum, yes,
Momentum
I'm
matters.
going to take Christopher Bell.
Yeah, no matters. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're going 12, baby. Well, I don't know if 12 is red. I think 12 is red, so put it on 12 red.
There we go.
Look, they're really good at Vegas. It's actually a Penske track. Like, Penske is good here, so I expect the 22 to be good too. But could 12.
Next up, Chase Elliott in the 9, who looked like he might have won the Roval, versus the 22 of Joey Logano. Chase Elliott is 31 to the good, obviously leading the points. Joey Logano is 11 to the good and in that second place position right now. Mamba?
I just said it. I think the Vegas is a very good Penske track.
Yeah.
They run very well there, and I think the 22 is going to be very strong there too. So.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going with Joey. I've seen Joey win that race with a car that was a 5th or 6th place
Yeah,
car. They just put him
sure.
in position, and
Yeah.
he just and that team, with Paul Wolf also, obviously working with Brad Kay, but Joey, they just have that ability as we get to the very end to up their game
Yeah.
every 2 or 3 races. So I think they're good.
All right, next up, sense of humor again for BetMGM. Ross Chastain versus Denny Hamlin. I personally thought this might have been springboarded at the Roval. It was not. They didn't even really get near each other. So who are we going with, KP?
I'm going with Chastain. Because they have to make a statement early in this round to
True.
prove that
Yeah,
they
yeah,
believe
yeah.
that they belong here. They have to make a statement early.
This was the race, the track that JGR had a lot of promise and a lot of speed at originally at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
I would expect Denny Hamlin to be really fast, and they need to be. Like, this is, I mean, obviously they have Martinsville.
Denny led laps in the
right?
spring, too.
But yeah, so I'm going with Hamlin over Ross, but it needs to be Ross.
Yeah. Next up, we have the two youngins, William Byron versus Chase Briscoe. I guess everybody in this playoff field is a youngin except for Denny. Sorry.
True.
Yeah,
True.
Joey's pretty young still,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, so are we going with the 24 or the 14, Mamba?
I think conventional wisdom will tell you the 24 because of the team but I think that Chase Briscoe has he's got a little fire after what he pulled off at the Roval to dig deep and make that happen. And they have been fast at tracks like these, but he's been in a position where he could take risk, and he has. So I think the 14 is going to surprise some people in this round, to be honest with you.
You know, I'm going to go, and I'm going to go with Lord Byron. Okay.
Lord Byron.
Yeah, I'm going with Lord Byron on this one. Okay. When we look at these tracks, and you look at Martinsville and the success that Hendrick has had there, when you look at all these tracks that are in this round, and you look at the success that organization has had there, it spreads out over the whole group.
So Vegas is on deck for the NASCAR Cup Series this weekend, and if we start off like we did at Texas, ooh, I'm gonna need a break after Sunday. All right, so let's do our winning pick for Vegas. There can only be one in victory lane. It can be one of the 8 that are still in the playoffs or not. There's a lot of drivers to choose from. Mamba, who's your pick?
I'm going to go with the 22 of Joey.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I was going to pick the 22.
Oh, look at
that! So I was going to pick the 22, but I will take another one since you took the 22.
No,
and listen, I was going to pick the 22 because I think they need to throw it, just like I said, Ross needs a statement.
Mm-hmm.
The 22 needs a statement to say, you got to go through us in Phoenix. But I'm going to take Lord Byron. I think I go back to, listen, I'm going to go back to this week. I'm going to go back to last week, winning the appeal, being put back in the game, and having a second chance. I think they're going to make the most of that second chance. I think they make the most of it through this round, and they move on.
Okay, just for the pure irony of this sport, my pick for Vegas, he finished the top 5 there earlier in the year. I'm going Kyle Larson.
Ooh.
Just because.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that there are 2 winners that lock themselves in to the championship 4. So I think that comes at Homestead and at Martinsville. And I think 2 get in on points. So Larson's going to win this week. A race for the championship continues Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Still the same this week, too, on USA. Remember to set your DVRs to record on Thursday night's episode. You can also now tune in to Peacock, the Bird, on Friday mornings to catch the latest episode. But here's a sneak peek of this week's episode.
For a driver, a concussion is the last thing that you want to get.
Everything shoulders down is ready to rip. And here up, it's unknown.
Just 2 spots left on point with a playoff cut line coming quick.
He's got this reputation of coming out swinging.
That's what we've got to do.
Are you nervous?
Blaney's got the lead.
We're kind of sitting in the danger zone.
The field is coming apart. Everybody is in full. Unbelievable.
Oh my God!
A race for the championship every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern on USA. Don't forget. And we only have 4 weeks left until we're crowning a champion. That's just
crazy
madness for me. And a race for the championship continues this weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400. Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Make sure to tune in to the excitement of the round of 8. We'll see you next week in the backseat.
This year, see more. The full field of in-car cameras.